The opening Steadicam shot of Boogie Nights glides into a nightclub without a single cut. That shot took a full 12-hour day and 7 takes, built to outdo a legendary scene from another film. These are 20 hidden details you completely missed in Boogie Nights. Number 20. The opening Steadicam glide from the exterior marquee into the nightclub feels effortless and spontaneous. That single unbroken shot took an entire 12-hour shoot day and 7 complete takes to execute. Cinematographer Robert Elswit lit the exterior at T2.8 and the interior at T4, adjusting the aperture wirelessly mid-shot so the light shift would be completely invisible to the camera. A second Steadicam operator, Ronald Vidar, was stationed on standby in case lead operator Andy Shuttleworth broke down mid-take. Watch the seamless shift in light quality as the camera moves from outside to inside. That transition is a live technical adjustment, not a post-production choice. The shot that defined the film's visual identity was merely abandoned before the crew broke for lunch. Number 19. The Steadicam glide into the Reseda Country Club looks original and boldly confident. It runs exactly 2 minutes and 56 seconds. Director Paul Thomas Anderson never said it directly, but crew member Mark Graziano documented in interviews that his reading was clear. The shot was built to outdo the famous Copacabana tracking shot from Goodfellas. Anderson was 27 when Boogie Nights opened in October 1997, only his second feature. New Line Cinema executive producer Mike DeLuca, who greenlit the film after reading a 185-page script overnight, later confirmed that the ambition on screen matched the ambition in the room from the very start. Look at the rhythm and duration of the opening shot and compare it to that Copacabana sequence. The structural similarity is not accidental. Number 18. The nightclub entrance in the opening frames looks alive and fully operational. The signage, the crowd, and the energy all suggest a thriving corner of the valley at its peak. The actual location, the Reseda Theatre at 1843 Sherman Way, had already gone dark before filming began. Anderson chose it specifically because a dead marquee captured the feeling of a fading era better than any active one could. Producer Joanne Seller helped secure the closed venue for the shoot. Pause on the marquee in the very first seconds of the opening shot. It carries no active listing. According to Grantland's 2014 oral history, the choice was deliberate from the start. Every viewer who watches that opening is reading decline into the frame before a single character appears. Number 17. Philip Seymour Hoffman's Scotty J wears clothes that never quite fit across the entire film. Collars too tight, sleeves too short. Everything slightly wrong in a way that reads as deeply revealing character work. Anderson's direction to costume designer Mark Bridges was precise. Dress Scotty like a 14-year-old boy. Bridges kept sourcing smaller and smaller pieces until he ran out of options entirely and raided actor William H. Macy's own wardrobe rack to find clothes small enough to work. Look at Scotty's collar, sleeve length, and jacket fit in every scene throughout the film. The discomfort is engineered and entirely visible. According to the Grantland oral history, the wardrobe that makes Scotty look so painfully out of place was literally borrowed from a co-star. Number 16. Jack Horner's poolside home feels like an archetypal San Fernando Valley dream house. The kidney-shaped pool, the warm domestic atmosphere, and the original fixtures all make every scene there feel genuinely lived in. The actual location is 19515 East Cameron Avenue in West Covina, miles from where the film implies it sits. Production designer Bob Ziembicki chose it because the family who owned the property had never had enough money to remodel. Every 1960s fixture was original and completely untouched. Look at the kitchen appliances, bathroom details, and pool equipment during the party sequences. They are period accurate because they are entirely real. What viewers read as deliberate production design throughout the film is the house exactly as Ziembicki found it. Number 15. The 1970s wardrobe throughout Boogie Nights looks effortlessly authentic at every level of the production. Every piece reads as genuinely period correct, from Scotty's red jacket to the ensemble costume pieces worn across the cast. Bridges flew with an assistant to a 35,000 square foot clothing warehouse in the Midwest called Hullabaloo and spent $12,000 on authentic period pieces in a single trip. That one day of buying sourced Scotty's red jacket and dozens of other key elements used throughout the film. Look at that jacket in the opening nightclub sequence. According to the Grantland oral history, it came directly from that single warehouse run. The entire visual era of the film was assembled from one building on one single afternoon. Number 14. Buck Swope's wardrobe throughout Boogie Nights looks expensive, aspirational, and carefully assembled from start to finish. Actor Don Cheadle wears those pieces with complete conviction across every scene. Bridges tracked down items from real celebrity provenance for the role. Cheadle reportedly wore original vintage performance clothes that had belonged to Sonny Bono. Look at Buck Swope's outfits across the full film. According to production accounts documented in the Grantland oral history, you are watching actual stage clothes from a working performer's real career on screen. Every time Cheadle appears in those pieces, the film carries material history no costume fabrication could replicate. The detail is invisible to most viewers, but it changes what Buck Swope brings to every frame. Number 13. Mark Wahlberg in the lead role feels inevitable from the opening sequence of the film. The performance is so committed across 152 minutes that imagining anyone else in the part is almost impossible. Anderson's first choice was Leonardo DiCaprio, following his work in The Basketball Diaries. DiCaprio agonized for months and then chose Titanic, recommending his Titanic co-star Wahlberg as a direct replacement. According to published casting documentation and producer interviews, DiCaprio personally steered Anderson toward Wahlberg. Producer John Lyons later stated that many actors were simply afraid of the material. DiCaprio subsequently named it the role he most regretted walking away from. The actor who defined this film was chosen by the actor who turned it down. Number 12. Wahlberg's performance across the film feels completely committed from the very first frame of the production. It is hard to imagine an actor approaching that role with anything less than total preparation. Wahlberg received the 185-page script and stopped reading after 30 to 35 pages. He demanded a face-to-face meeting at the Formosa Cafe in Hollywood before agreeing to continue reading the material. His condition was explicit. He would not be hired for his underwear model image from the Marquee years. Anderson's documented first reaction was that Wahlberg was completely out of line for reading less than a quarter of the material. Wahlberg then auditioned on the spot alongside Hoffman and Riley and was offered the role in the room. Number 11. Burt Reynolds as Jack Horner is one of the most acclaimed comeback performances of the 1990s. The warmth and quiet authority he brings to every scene feel like the work of an actor who is fully committed to the role throughout. Reynolds documented in multiple interviews that he turned the part down 7 times before finally accepting. After seeing a rough cut of the finished film, he fired the agent who had persuaded him to take it. According to Reynolds' own 2018 Conan O'Brien interview, he never finished watching the completed film from beginning to end. Watch Reynolds in any Jack Horner scene knowing he spent months refusing to be there and never truly reconciled with the decision. Number 10. Reed Rothschild's heartfelt hot tub poem feels like a spontaneous moment of genuine character. John C. Reilly delivers it with such naturalness that it reads as completely improvised in the scene. The poem is a verbatim transcription of an improvisation by Eddie Dalcour, a bodybuilder who played the Reed character in Anderson's 1988 short film The Dirk Diggler Story. Reilly performed someone else's 9-year-old improvisation word for word on a major studio production. Listen to that poem knowing it was first spoken by a completely different person in a different production nearly a decade earlier. According to the Grantland oral history, the most intimate character moment in the film belongs entirely to someone who never appears in it. Number 9. Dirk's car arrives at Rahad Jackson's house visibly damaged in a scene where no prior crash has been shown on screen. Most viewers assume it is a continuity error left in the final cut. A deleted scene preserved on the DVD showed Dirk crashing the car while driving to help another character leave a difficult situation. Anderson cut the scene because, in his own words, the film was already dark enough without it. Pause on Dirk's car when it pulls up outside the Rahad exterior. The damage is real, visible, and completely unexplained in the theatrical cut. According to the DVD commentary, what reads as a production mistake is documented evidence of a deliberate moral decision Anderson made while editing the film. Number 8. Little Bill's long New Year's Eve tracking shot is one of the film's most technically demanding sequences. It follows the character through the entire party in an unbroken arc that required precise blocking from the full ensemble. The beat where Little Bill locks himself out of his own car was not scripted at all. Macy improvised it during filming, and Anderson kept it in the final cut. According to Macy's Vulture 25th anniversary interview, the moment arrived entirely from instinct. Watch the New Year's tracking shot and notice how the locked car beat breaks the rhythm of everything around it. That rupture is real and completely unplanned, and a genuine physical impulse from a real actor became one of the most remembered beats in a meticulously choreographed sequence. Number 7. Little Bill's spoken lines throughout the film are precise, restrained, and quietly devastating. Every word carries the full weight of a man who cannot bring himself to act. On take 2 of the crucial scene, Macy accidentally reversed the word order in a line of dialogue. Anderson chose to preserve that take because the flub captured Little Bill's frazzled, defeated inner state more truthfully than the correct version ever could. Listen closely to that specific line on a rewatch. The reversal is subtle but audible. The character's most broken moment was built from the actor's genuine mistake. And then there is the Rahad Jackson sequence, where the production made a specific calculated decision that guaranteed no one on set could prepare for what was coming next. Number 6. The Rahad Jackson sequence is the film's most unpredictable and gripping scene. The tension builds through the interaction between characters and the constant intrusion of firecrackers thrown in the background. Those firecrackers were written into the script, but their timing was randomized deliberately by the production so no actor could anticipate when the next one would arrive. Every flinch and startled physical response in that scene is entirely authentic. Watch actor Alfred Molina and the other cast members during the Rahad sequence. According to the Grantland oral history, the startles happen at moments no performer could have prepared for. What registers as outstanding ensemble acting is documented genuine response to real and completely unpredictable surprise throughout every take of the scene. Number 5. The closing shot of Boogie Nights delivers on a promise the story builds toward across the entire film. The prosthetic in that final scene was built by KNBEFX Group, supervised by Howard Berger and Robert Kurtzman, with sculptor Garrett Immel creating the final piece. A first version was rejected by Anderson. The final version used in the film measures approximately 7 inches. According to the Grantland oral history with the KNBEFX Group team, the film's most discussed image directly contradicts the film's own script. Wahlberg has confirmed in multiple interviews that he still owns the prosthetic, kept in a safe at home, and that the rubber has begun to deteriorate over the years. Number 4. The tension between director and lead actor is invisible across Jack Horner's entire performance on screen. Reynolds holds composure through every scene, according to First AD John Wildermuth and producer John Lyons. Both documented in the Grantland oral history, Reynolds confronted Anderson during production on the West Covina set and threw a punch that Lyons intercepted before it landed. Reynolds later told GQ magazine that every shot felt like the first time that kind of shot had ever been done, and that he could name 5 prior films using the same approach that Anderson treated as entirely new. Watch Reynolds in any Jack Horner scene knowing the performance was delivered in active, documented conflict with its director throughout the entire production. Number 3. The Colonel appears briefly in Boogie Nights, but carries real weight on screen throughout his scenes. Actor Robert Ridgely plays the part with easy authority and quiet gravity. Ridgely had played the Jack Horner role in Anderson's 1988 short film, The Dirk Diggler Story, 9 years before the feature was made. He was also Ernie Anderson's close personal friend throughout PTA's entire childhood. Anderson wrote the Colonel specifically for Ridgely, building the role around this one man and their shared personal history. According to the Faber-published screenplay introduction, Ridgely was already battling cancer during the summer 1996 shoot. Look at the Colonel in every scene, knowing the actor had inhabited the same world nearly a decade earlier in a short film Anderson made as a teenager. Number 2, the film closes with 2 on-screen dedications. Robert Ridgely died on February 8, 1997. Ernie Anderson, Paul Thomas Anderson's father, died 2 days earlier on February 6, 1997. Anderson was still finishing the film when both men passed within 48 hours of each other. His production company, the Ghoulardi Film Company, was named directly after his father's beloved Cleveland television alter ego from the 1960s. According to the Cleveland Sun's October 1997 coverage and the Grantland oral history, that company name was created directly out of this loss. Every frame of the completed film was finished as a simultaneous tribute to 2 men who did not survive long enough to see it screened for an audience at all. Number 1. The randomized firecrackers in the Rahad Jackson sequence create the film's most charged and overwhelming atmosphere. Anderson's father, Ernie, had been Cleveland television host Ghoulardi on WJW Channel 8 from 1963 to 1966, building his show around blowing things up on air for the audience. Anderson confirmed in published interviews that the firecrackers in the Rahad sequence were a direct personal homage to Ghoulardi. That scene was completed after Ernie Anderson's death. Anderson finished this tribute to his father with his father already gone. Watch the Rahad Jackson sequence knowing that every firecracker carries a personal signal from a son to a father who never saw the film. The most chaotic scene in Boogie Nights carries the most private meaning in the entire production. Boogie Nights looks like a bold film about one world in one decade. Beneath every scene sits a tribute, a mistake kept on purpose, or a conflict that nearly stopped production. The firecrackers, the jacket, the marquee, the locked car, none of it is what it appears. Which hidden detail surprised you most? And what film should we open next?